I'm Pam Hiller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert.
I'm Erica Botker, AccuQuilt's creativity expert.
All right, once again, AccuQuilt has taken a classic block and created a die to cut all 22 pieces needed for this block with just 2 passes through the Go Big, and Go Me cutters. Introducing the Go Flying Swallows block on board, or Bob die. Here's a sample of the block. Do you not just love this?
I love this, and I have wanted this block for so long. So not only are there a total of 88 perfectly cut pieces that you'll be using to build this block, but we cut them 10 times faster than traditional methods and 100% more accurate. This block finishes to 12 inches, so let's start by taking a look at the die.
So the Go Swallows die is on a 6x24 die board. So you're going to need the corresponding mat.
Right.
And like we said, it can fit through our Go Big, and even our Go Me, because it's that 6x24. Now, one of the things that I love about it is it has 5 distinct shapes, but these are half square triangles, these are half square triangles, these are quarter square triangles, and these are parallelograms.
Right.
So the great thing is we've cut off all the dog ears. We have specialized dog ears so that when you're cutting these half square triangles and quarter square triangles, you're going to stitch from here to here that perfect 1/4 inch seam.
Exactly.
Now we should talk real quick about the block. It has 4 separate units.
Right, and they're identical.
They're identical. So this is one of those chain piecing for days.
Well, and within those blocks, we have 2 different units. So within those units are 2 subunits.
Yes.
And it's important to point out, no Y seams.
None Y seams in the whole block, which is great. Because when I first saw this, I thought, oh, there's going to be so many Y seams. But that's why we have half square triangles and quarter square triangles.
That's right.
All right, so let's lay out our fabric. So this can cut a 2-color block and just 2 passes through the cutters. So I'm going to just take, I love kind of this contrasting color. So I've subcut my fabric according to the pattern. And Erica, we have the pattern here on the set.
We do.
Because there's a lot of pieces when you want to make sure we sew them together.
You know, this is one of those blocks, Pam, where as you lay all that out, you want to make a test block.
Yes.
And you want to be sure you follow the directions.
Yes.
It's not one of those times that you want to just go rogue.
Yes.
Because you might regret it. Okay, and we are on a 6x24 die board, so we need a 6x24 mat.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and cut it on a Go Big, but again, there are other cutters that we could cut this with. Super handy because I've got my Go Big die catcher here on the edge. All right, let's take a look at those pieces, shall we?
We shall. And I kind of grabbed the unit you made. Do you want to talk about it for a minute?
So
while
I wanted
take these?
to try out a scrappy look. So that's what I did with this unit. So far, I just have 1 unit made, but I like how it turned out so well. I think I'm going to have to make more.
Great way to use up your scraps.
It really is.
And this is great because you can fan fold the fabric because none of these are directional shapes,
There we
which
go.
is fantastic. Let's lay out the pieces for our unit. So we're going to follow our pattern.
Right. So we're going to be using pieces E and C, and those E's are these little diamond or parallelograms, parallelograms for us.
And we need a total of 6. 2, 4, 6. And then, Erica.
Yes.
This is really important. We need 4 that go together in one way and 2 that goes to the other. So I'm going to kind of separate these out. Okay, and then...
So if we were making a whole block, we'd need 8 of each.
We would.
Okay. So our C's are going to come next. Now C is, so we want to lay this out, and I'm going to say to lay these out according to the way the pattern is.
Yes.
So this way and this way. So you can see they're kind of facing each other, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going to be putting those C pieces on different sides.
This one's
depending on the
the middle one. Yeah.
So
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Erica, that's a great idea, and that's exactly how I did it.
Okay.
So we're gonna put C, which are what kind of triangles?
Those are quarter square triangles, and you're going to know because that edge is going to be, the long edge is going to be on the outside of a quarter square triangle,
Yep.
whereas the long edge is on the inside or the bias edge of a half square triangle. So that's how you can tell.
Okay, so we're just making this one little unit here.
That's right.
So I'm gonna move our pieces, but I left them on the die board.
Yes.
So I could keep track of all of the pieces.
And again, it's always a best practice to go ahead and
do that. Now
do that.
we're going to sew this together just like our diagram, but I want to show everybody how perfect this goes together.
It really does. Those specialized dog ears are going to fit together perfectly.
Yeah.
So go ahead and sew those together.
And I found the easiest way when I was first starting these is to press them open.
Oh, I did too.
Because there's just so many pieces. And you just want them to lay flat. And then I'm going to do this side. Because then we're going to have a left and a right, which is what we need in life. And when I was making my whole block, Erica, I just did them all together, right? You know, I just did all of the pieces that I needed. Okay. But again, we're just making one unit today, so I'll show you how that works. And we'll grab our scissors here.
Okay. And while I press these open, you can go ahead and talk about those middle.
So this unit right here, so here's the left and here's the right, and here we have the middle. So this is piece E, and then D, which are these tiny little half square triangles, or quarter square triangles, sorry. And how you lay them out is important. So what you want to do is they lay like this. And in your quilting head, you're going to say, oh, Pam Heller, that is wrong. And I promise you it's not, because look, now we can come to this side, and now it lines up perfectly. See how it fits in there? If you have it this direction, it's not going to fit. So you want to lay it down. It's going to fit right into that space. And again, you want to have a really good 1/4 inch seam. And I'm going to sew one side, have Erica press them open, and then I will stitch the other side. Okay, here we go.
And as you said, we're pressing these open.
Right. I'm going to grab some more of my shape D, and they're going to sit right on top of these little units here. And this D goes on both the left and the right. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to finish this one.
Okay.
And then have you press them open, and then I'm going to add the tops
To these two, and then we're going to be
do you want to talk about
doing a little magic.
your scrappy version you made?
So I was inspired by the pattern hanging behind us to make a scrappy version. I don't know about you all, but I tend to have a lot of scraps sitting around. And the one behind us has a black background. I used a navy grunge, so it's not exactly
so many
solid.
things I love about it.
You know me and my blue period.
Yes.
So I just decided that that was the way to go. And I really love the contrast. And of course I sat and debated, where to put my scraps, but really you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, grab them, put them together. They're just gonna sing. Those brighter colors against the navy, I really like how they look, just like I like how they are behind us. This is such a classic block, and it's a complex one.
It is. You have to pay attention.
You do have to pay attention, but without having to sew those Y seams and with everything cut for you, it makes it well within anybody's grasp. You just need to be able to take your time and sew a good 1/4 inch seam.
Well, and I love that shape E is just tiny. So if you have tiny scraps, well, you can just cut those for days.
You can.
Okay.
And I run into, I tend to get stuck keeping smaller scraps than maybe I should sometimes. Do you do that?
No.
You throw them out, don't you?
I do.
She's
I know
brutal.
already there's people that are groaning.
She's brutal.
Well,
I've gotten better. I've gotten better about getting rid of the
right,
really little
because
ones.
the question always is, how small is too small?
How small is too small? Right.
And we always say, well, can you cut a half square triangle with it? Well, at AccuQuilt, we have a 1-inch finished half square triangle. So, I mean,
we even have a 1/2 inch.
yes,
finished half
yes,
square
we
triangle.
do.
So there's really hardly anything too small to cut. And I wouldn't want to cut anything that small without my dies, that's
Right.
for sure.
Right. Now, see, look at these. You're all thinking this is wrong, but no, it is not. I promise.
Okay. And again, we're taking our time to press these open because there is a lot of bulk at the intersections. It's so pretty.
So now I'm making this unit right here, okay? And you're gonna see if I lay it like this, when we sew it all together, it will have straight edges. That was from my other one here, hold on. I know, I have to keep track of my pieces here. There we go. And you see, look, they line up.
When you do it right, they line up
match.
right.
They match. I think that that is one of the really great things about AccuQuilt, is that we make sure we test dies to make sure that they're going to line up the correct way.
Oh, yes.
You know, that our pieces are going to finish the way they're supposed to. Okay, and I also learned that we're lining up the quarter square triangles together, the smaller ones. So shape Ds are all going to line up together. And I literally sat down, had my iron next to me on my little wool mat.
Yes.
And just watched TV and sewed. It was fantastic.
Right. I think it helps if you keep in mind matching those quarter squares
Yes.
up. That's going to help you
Yes.
get your pieces in the right order.
Yeah. Want it to lay flat over that seam. And here, Erica has said this, you really want to make a test block. But what I did was make a test unit.
Yes.
Then I didn't have to do the whole block, right? I just made the unit. So now then I could lay this here and go, oh yes, this is correct. You know, this is correct. Okay. So now that we have our little end, our little corner with our swallow in it, now we're going to add piece B to one side. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm going to lay this.
You got to make sure you're all flying in formation.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So now I can add shape B. And again, if we've sewn it on a 1/4 inch seam, look how perfect that lines up. But I'm going to say pressing helps.
Pressing does help.
Kind of allows you to repent of some sins if it hasn't been exactly how you stitched it. And it's at this point you would think to yourself, oh, now we have to sew a Y seam. But AccuQuilt, in their absolute wisdom, made, instead of that square that you would have to sew into use as a Y seam, we just took and made a half square triangle.
That's right.
Okay. And it fits like this. And because my fabric has this kind of pattern through it, I kind of tried to line things up so that it kind of matched. It didn't have to, but I just thought it was super cool that it could.
That's kind of an ombre fabric. It's a really fun
so
fabric.
Fun. Okay.
Okay, here's your other piece then.
Excellent. Okay,
Here.
there, that will help me. That will help me immensely. Okay.
There you go. If you go to sew it on and it doesn't fit right, that means it's in the wrong place.
Oh gosh, yes. All right, one last one, Erica, and then I can sew my unit together.
And this one, because of the seams, I did just press
it away.
towards the big seam.
Yeah. All right, and now we're ready to sew it together. The two halves. And I did make sure that when I'm sewing this together that those little seams right there from shape A match. You might have to leave your needle down and manipulate your foot so that you can get over the seams. All right, Miss Erica, how'd we do?
There we go. There
Look
we
at
go.
that.
So now we've got our other unit. Now, where's our block?
Right here.
So this is going to be right up here. And again, you can see how it's going to just, you're going to make 4 identical blocks.
Yep.
They're going to all sew together and make your 12-inch finished block.
Which is so perfect. 12 inches is great. It's perfect for table runners and pillows and quilts and more.
You can pair this with other 12-inch finished bob dies or with 12-inch cube blocks or create whatever you want to. And of course, we mentioned earlier those 12-inch setting triangles.
Yeah, so you could turn that block on point. We are loving the Go Flying Swallows die. You can pick one up from AccuQuilt or your local retailer because at AccuQuilt we create products to help you cut time.
So you can quilt more.